Hey, it's the beginning of another week. August 11th it is, Monday. And time to connect again. I'll start the video off by saying that the second part of that podcast that people have listened to is up. I'll put the link. Dark Stuff is the name of the podcast, The Dark Stuff. And part 2 has just been put online. For those, many of you let me know that you enjoyed the first part. Some were disappointed that the interview ended where it did. Of course, that's the teaser, how to get you to come back. So the rest of the interview is up, which I haven't listened to yet. But you know, whatever I say, I'm trying to be as honest as I can. So whatever I said, I was being honest in the moment. There are a lot of different ways that I could go with my thoughts this morning, but I think what I'll do is I'll just be nice and do another vinyl playlist. I've listened to some records, and I've been going through the usual period of self-doubt about my own music, you know, which is frustrating, but it's just how it goes, you know. It's like, so I may speak about that at the end, but some records that are sitting out that have been played or have not been played and are here to be played or to be talked about. Earth and Fire, Atlantis, Dutch band from the 70s. They had a progressive pop angle, whereas many of the songs had long instrumental passages and nice keyboards. They were very melodious, and they had hit songs. They had hit singles. This is the English version. I like the original cover better, which has an Eastern kind of I don't know, Hindu sort of artwork on the cover. Good album. I did listen to this last night. Magazine, Magic, Murder, and the Weather. And I'll bring up another VC member who, Richard Lee, because I posted this on Facebook, letting people know I was listening to it. And he had just posted how he didn't care for it much and thought he was missing something. And I just shot back, you know. Actually, there was concern in his post about judgment or somehow missing something, and I just again say that we all have our own personal filters that we experience everything through, and you know, how can someone can have more experience about things, but ultimately we have the right to like what we like. Makes sense to me, right? Played this, Signs of the Zodiac, the Cancer album. Of note, the electronic music score for this is by Mort Garson. Look up Mort Garson if you're not familiar. They did a series of these albums back in the 70s where they did the whole horoscope. There are aspects of the narrative which are seemingly accurate about describing personality, but as I listened to it last night, I listened to the slant of the narrative, and it's just so typically corporate Western America, you know, but the music on this is pretty cool. Mini Pops, another Dutch band from the 80s. Fourth Floor, I was listening to this. It kind of struck me how the vocals on this they're not the growling metal at all, because this isn't metal, and yet the way Wally, the singer of this band, sings on here, it caught my attention. It's like, man, this is almost a precursor to some of the guttural singing of metal music. I don't know that there's a connection, but I just noticed that. This is electronic, angular, very unique. Mini Pops, Fourth Floor, really good. Groundbreaking band, Per Ubu, started out as Rocket from the Crypt, I believe. David Thomas, lead singer. portly fellow, very interesting. This album is smashing. New Picnic Time. It sounds modern still. It's made in the 80s. Para Ubu. Fantastic. I was out yesterday, and thankfully I made some money through the quick record shop. Someone did come in and buy some records. That's all the money I made last week. Thank goodness I made some money. But on the way home from the shop, this song came into my mind, and I had to play it when I got home. Quatermass. The song I was thinking of was Black Sheep of the Family, which is on this album. One of the best Hypnosis album covers, in my opinion. And this is good, a bluesy proggy, British bluesy prog sound. All the people in this band went on to do other things of note. Ambitious Lovers, a band that was led by Arto Lindsay, who I first discovered from the No Wave scene, the No New York album that Eno curated, you could say. This was a more commercial endeavor for Arto and Peter Scherer, this guy here. You know, when I listened to it this weekend, it was the first time that it occurred to me that these guys were trying to cop some of the commercial thunder of Scritti Politti. I hear elements of the Scritti Politti pop sound on here, but they don't sound like Scritti Politti. I like what they're doing, but I can hear where I'll bet you anything, it was a conscious move to try and do a Scritti Politti pop sound to make money. It's pretty good. Charles Lloyd, Forest Flower, live at Montreux. Charles Lloyd as a player for me, is still not very interesting. He plays with interesting people, and the highlight of this album is the band. Cecil McBee on bass, Keith Jarrett plays some wonderful piano solos on here, and Jack DeJohnette on drums. So again, not a diss, but an honest assessment of Charles Lloyd's playing. He has never interested me. Frankly, I've always wondered, why did he get a contract? You know, I know he can play, but it still escapes me. What was it? Except that he always played with good people. Glad to have this. Skids, the band that Big Country came out of. There's a lot of, I think, Scottish folk music that influences this music. I'm not Scottish, but I like it. Skids, Joy, Richard Jobson on lead vocals. I like his voice too. You know, there are times when I'll be listening to this music and I'll think, especially when I listen to German music, and I'll be thinking about, you know, racist history, you know, and I just come back to the fact that, you know, all of that ignorance on the part of mankind towards one another has nothing to do with my ability to enjoy what mankind creates. So that's how I put that mess to rest in my mind. I'm a citizen of the universe. Ralph McTell, You Well-Meaning Brought Me Here, another example. This is English kind of, I think he started out on the English folk scene, and this is kind of maybe singer-songwriter. Really good though. From the 70s, Ralph McTell. Well respected in England. When you hear him, you'll see why. He's just solid, solid, solid. I don't know who to compare him to. It just came to me. Actually, in a way, this is kind of like a English Harry Chapin. If you like Harry Chapin, try this guy. I think Ralph McTell is excellent. Armory Show. This is another band that Richard Jobson from the Skids started. Armory Show. This band also included John McGeough, who was originally in Magazine. Really like this stuff. I don't have their album, but I have a couple singles. We Can Be Brave Again. It's pop music, but it's kind of anthemic. Big and anthemic. Really like this. I was going through some singles, and I played this, and this stays because it's part of my Charisma collection. Malcolm McLaren's Carmen. This is really, really cheesy, in my opinion. A waste of money. It was a waste, but I like the label Charisma, so it stays in my collection. What a waste of money. More singles. Divine Styler. don't really know about Divine Styler. Futura non scripta est. All I can say is this is a 12-inch single that I was able to acquire very cheaply, probably through a closeout somewhere in Omaha. I enjoyed it. I didn't pay any attention to what he was saying. Remember the band Propaganda? Maybe not. This was the lead. Claudia Brücken was like the lead singer with that huge nose from Germany. Then she went and started a project called ACT, and this is one of their singles, I Can't Escape From You. Big pop. Trevor Horn produced. I like it. I like it. Okay, let me pass some of those. So as you know, I just saw Yes, shared with you what I thought of Yes. Been playing some Yes, you know, and I just love the band. I love them. I love them. I love them. Okay. So keep it fairly short here. There's a little bit of a Dereck's playlist for you. I will say that, you know, I do watch videos where I'm trying to understand all this information about history, the part of history that the mainstream does not tell you about. Watching a lot of videos and then referencing things to books and stuff, trying to understand what really happened as much as possible. I think the reason why is because I just feel it in my very being, the apocalyptic nature of the times. Apocalypse not meaning the end, but change, you know, major change. These are some times of major upheaval, and I just question everything that happens. What's really going on? Like Ebola. Is Ebola on purpose? The people that would jump to just immediately say no, it isn't. I'm suspicious of that. I'm suspicious. I would not be surprised if it was genetically engineered warfare, and this is on purpose. It would not surprise me. As heinous and as sinister as what is going on when it comes to war, the insistence, it seems, that we're going to have a World War III. It's what I see, and so I can't ignore it. And so I just, every now and then, I'm going to say something about it. It appears to be apocalyptic times. It does appear to me that there is some sort of either, you know, sleep medicine going on in the mass public, or it's mind control, or some kind of numbing agent, that this madness is going on, and the main response seems to be confusion or hiding in the sand. There are people that are standing up and trying to do something, but there sure is a lot of, and I don't think it's just apathy, you know. I don't know what it is, but it's on my mind, so I talk about it.